slightly far back.
Okay, we are live. Sorry, we're a little bit late here. Realized that you can't go live on Safari, so who'd have thunk it? But anyways, guys, I want to respect everyone's time here. And so we're gonna just go ahead and get right into the Q&A, and as people hop on, you can ask questions, but we're going to answer the just main questions that I think mostly everyone is dying to have answered. And so the first question is, when is Switch opening back up? When is it happening? The answer, the true answer is it depends. It depends on the schools. It depends on CDC guidelines. It just depends on what is happening with COVID-19. And so we are monitoring that. But just so you guys know, for me personally, how I'm planning things in my mind and the assumptions that I'm making in my mind are that it will be happening in the fall. Like once the fall opens back up, once the fall school year starts, we're going to be back. So that's kind of my assumption. The thing is, I'm just holding it really open-handedly and just saying, Lord, we're going to plan for this, but if it doesn't happen this way, then you're going to help us get through that. Now, the second question is actually, before I move on to the second question. So I'm expecting it's going to open up in the fall, but it could be something like it's not until the second week of September that the fall semester is starting. And so Switch won't happen until then. That's kind of the mindset I have of like, okay, we're going to just hold it open like that. But my anticipation is, fall, we're going to open up. Now, what will Switch look like once we get there? The answer to that is we are going to get into the full Switch experience as soon as possible. And when I say full Switch experience, what I'm talking about is snacks, games, worship, message, all of it. That is the full Switch experience. That's the goal, is to have it as soon as possible. I've got some notes here. I just want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. And once we get back into the full swing of things, one of the things I want to prepare our Switch group leaders for is that it can look very, very different for our groups. The Switch demographic, the students who attend, that might look very, very different once we get things going again. And so I just want to prepare everyone's minds and just really make sure that we are all entering into this season of Switch with a lot of flexibility, a willingness to pivot, a willingness to make changes. The students, the groups that you were leading, those students, honestly, they might not come back. Yeah, exactly. And so it's not going to look the same. So be willing to go into a different group if the need is necessary, or if the need is there. Be willing to partner with other groups, and just going into this next season of Switch, it just might not look the same for you. And that's okay. In fact, that's exciting. It's exciting to know that there might be completely different students who are walking through our doors. There might be parents in the community who are saying, you know what, you do need to be in church. And I know a good one. It's right down the street. You do need to be a part of a student ministry. And also schedules might open up for students that weren't opened up before. And so we might get a whole different type of group of students who are coming through our doors. And that is exciting. But we have to be willing to say, okay, the way it was before, it's not necessarily going to look like that, and I'm okay with it. If I need to change groups, if my role needs to look a little bit differently, that is okay.
Yeah.
We have to be willing to do that and make those changes and just pivot as quickly and as willingly as possible. So with that said, summer switch. What does that look like? What does our involvement look like? And one of the things that we have been talking to Central about, or the communication we've been getting back from Central about, is that over the summer, we're going to try and have what we call switch hangs. So we are not going to necessarily, I don't expect we're going to have a summer switch experience where we're talking worship and snacks and all those types of things. We're going to have these switch hangs. And what that's going to look like is when students come through our doors, we're not going to have snacks out. We're not going to have games out. It's going to be small groups. It's going to be about small group settings when that happens. And when they check in, we're going to try and create a touch-free check-in experience as best as we can. And it'll likely start at 7 o'clock. And we're going to have small groups for about 45 minutes, maybe even an hour. I'll probably hop on stage and say a few things to just get the night going, but we're not going to have a message. We're not going to have worship or anything like that. And the reason we're doing it that way is because we want to help students just kind of get back into the swing of things of, oh, okay, like we are preparing to be back in the building here. But we're not going to just have a full-blown experience just yet. And we want to give you as leaders an opportunity to get prepared and to get comfortable and get used to it, because we've had a long season off from any switch activity. And so we want to give you guys some opportunities to just get a little bit more used to being around students, being in groups, and connecting in that way. So with that said, does anyone have any questions? Do y'all have any questions about that? I know someone just hopped on a little bit late here, but go ahead and just type in a question if you got it, and I'm more than happy. We'll do our best to try and answer that.
If not, you can.
Do you have any questions?
What will the small groups look like in the summer? Like, are we going to have discussion questions, or is it just like a hangout? Or
that's a good question. Don't know the answer to that. I don't know if we'll have discussion questions. We likely will, because we always like to give all of our leaders something in their hands that they can have when they're having discussion. But honestly, just connecting with students, and like even in that setting, being willing to
connect with students that might not be in your group.
Connect with students that might not have been in your group in the spring. Join another leader who wasn't, in maybe you're a middle school leader. You might join a high school leader. Like, just be willing to make those changes and pivot. So that's a really good question. If there's nothing else, we'll kind of move on.
While we go.
Yeah, you guys can always ask while we're going along. The next thing that I wanted to say about that is that we will have switch hangs before we have switch, though. So let's say switch doesn't happen until the second week of September. We are going to have hangs leading up to switch. So we might have 2 or 3 switch hangs before that week of September, like 3 weeks before that week of September that we've switched. We might have hangs leading up to that to just help us build momentum, to help us get acclimated, to help us get ready for the semester at hand.
Are the hangs in the church, or are they outside?
They'll be in the church. So as long as we can open up the doors and have the building, we're going to have switch hangs.
And then what about kids who are brand new? They've never been in a group. They just know that their friend invited them, or their friend didn't invite them. They just showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how are we corralling them to know what group to go to?
So we're still going to have check-in. We always have to have check-in anytime we do something like that. And like I said, we're going to do everything we can to have a touch-free check-in experience. And so if you're a part of the check-in crew, I'll be connecting with you, and we'll figure out what does that look like and the best way to do that.
And then how do they know what small group they're going to be in?
When they arrive, if they already know their small group, it'll be easy for them. But the students who don't, again, that's why I'll be on stage at first and just kind of directing the evening and helping students get plugged in. And we'll have a team of people who are paying attention to the groups and the students who come in and helping them get plugged in. So cool. Good questions, babe. Thank you. Thank you. This is why I have her on here, because I was like, I need someone else who knows what to ask. Okay. So again, if you have questions, just type them as we go along.
Text later.
And I'll try and answer them. If you don't get your question answered, or if a question comes up later, yeah, you can text me for sure. So I want to talk about some expectations, like what is expected of me in this season, because we just finished a semester of Switch, albeit it was online a lot of the time, but we're going into the summer. What's kind of expected of me? The first thing that I want to say about that is I expect you to keep your summer plans. Like, I know that there are a lot of you who you have vacations planned, you have different things planned over the summer. It looks different for a lot of people, and that is great. And I want you guys to keep those plans. When we have things like Switch Hangs, I would love for you to be there. We would love for you to attend. But I also understand, like, you have something scheduled throughout the summer. You have a trip that's like annual and things like that. And so please don't feel bad about skipping. Don't feel guilty about skipping or anything like that. The only thing that I just ask is that you let us know. And just to make things really simple, if you have my number, text it to me. If not, send me an email. Zach.tsai@life.church, zac.tsai@life.church. And so just go ahead and let us know if you won't be able to be there. Let's see here. Am I forgetting anything? Also, when it comes to students, if you have been connecting with students during this season, like they've stayed in touch with you, stay in touch with them. I just want to stress the importance of remaining consistent. So the expectation is not that you're going to meet every single week, that like even to reach out to them every single week. Like, that's not the expectation. If for you, it's just once a month, like you just do a text to catch up, a Zoom call, whatever works for you, just try and keep it consistent throughout the summer. But it's not my expectation that you guys are going to keep going at it for the next 3 whole months. Like, that's not my expectation. It's summer. You guys have summer plans. Treat it like summer. But one of the things that I do want to urge you guys to do and encourage you guys to do is absolutely be connecting with each other. We've been setting up these group me's and group messages and texts. Go ahead and use those to voice your prayer requests, to encourage one another, to post scripture verses, to post funny memes, like use that as an opportunity to stay connected. Because when you're a part of Switch, you're a part of a family. It's not just something that we come to attend and leave. It's people who are all a part of the mission to lead students to become fully devoted followers of Christ. And we go farthest when we go together. And so I want to just urge you guys to use those group messages and to use those relationships in that way. Let's see. Am I missing anything else? That is it for Switch. Specifically, if you have any questions, please just let me know. But thank you so much for joining us here. We really appreciate it. I hope that this time was helpful and clarifying to you. Again, if there are any questions that you have that you didn't get answered, please just let us know, and let me know. Text me, email me, and I'll answer them for you. But thanks again, guys. I love you, and have a great summer. We will see you later.
Bye.